It was supposed to be a simple Saturday night. Good food, a smoking grill, friends scattered around the backyard, music drifting in the background. My husband, Aiden, had invited one of his closest college friends, a guy named Cashin. I'd heard stories about him for years, but meeting him in person was different. Cashin was the kind of man who drew attention without trying. Tall, built like he lived at the gym, and carrying that easy, charismatic confidence that made people naturally gravitate toward him. He cracked jokes, told stories, and everyone leaned in. I didn't think I was attracted to him. At least that's what I kept insisting to myself. But I did notice him, and noticing him was enough to make what happened next sting even more. At some point, Cashin started showing off the results of his new workout routine, laughing as he flexed. One of the guys teased him about getting too big. Cashin brushed it off, grinning. And then, God knows why, I opened my mouth. Maybe it was the wine. Maybe it was the atmosphere. Maybe I was trying too hard to be funny. Because I suddenly blurted out, "Well, now I understand why everyone calls him Big Cass." People burst out laughing. Aiden smiled for half a second. Then I saw his fingers tense around his beer can. Someone nudged him jokingly. "Got some competition, huh?" And instead of stopping, I made the worst mistake of the night. Try and keep the mood light. I added, "Come on." Next to Cashin, any guy would look small. The laughter that followed wasn't real. Not from Aiden. His jaw tightened, his eyes went flat, and the air felt suddenly wrong. I brushed it off, told myself it was nothing. But part of me already knew I'd crossed a line I didn't see until it was too late. He didn't speak the rest of the evening. On the drive home, the only sound in the car was the radio humming softly, while Aiden stared straight ahead like he wasn't even in his own body. When we got home, he went straight to the bedroom. I followed him in, confused and nervous. "You good?" I asked lightly. He turned toward me slowly, eyes cold. "Yeah," he said. "I'm just trying to figure something out." "What?" I asked. His voice was barely above a whisper. "How do you know he's bigger?" My stomach flipped. My throat closed. "What?" Aiden knew it was a joke. It didn't mean anything. He didn't smile. Didn't blink. "You said it like you meant it," he whispered. "So, tell me, how would you know?" I tried to explain the nickname, to brush it off, to convince him I was just running my mouth. But even I heard how pathetic my explanation sounded. He wasn't yelling. That almost made it worse. His silence carried more pain than shouting ever could. "You really thought it was funny?" he said quietly. "Saying something like that about another man in front of everyone?" My voice cracked. I didn't think. "No," he cut in. "You didn't." Then he grabbed his keys and walked out. The door shut behind him, and the sound tore something inside me. That night felt endless. I texted him until my fingers hurt. I called him until my battery died. Nothing. By morning, panic had turned into dread. I called Cashin, hoping for answers. He sounded uncomfortable. "Aiden came by earlier," he said. "He asked if anything ever happened between us." My heart dropped. I had pushed my husband to question something he'd never doubted before. Aiden didn't come home until late the next day. His eyes were red, and his voice was rough from exhaustion and emotion. "Do you understand how that sounded?" he asked quietly. "Do you have any idea what it feels like to hear your wife compare you to another man like that?" I broke. Completely. It was stupid. I cried. I didn't mean any of it. He shook his head, not in forgiveness, but resignation. "It's not what you meant," he said. "It's what it revealed." That sentence shattered me, because deep down I understood it wasn't that he thought I'd cheated. It was that I made him feel small, publicly. I humiliated the one man who had always treated me with love and respect. The days that followed were heavy. I tried to reach him however I could, talking, cooking, apologizing, anything to show him I meant it. But Aiden stayed distant, guarded, wounded. One night, I found him sitting outside alone, staring into the dark. I sat next to him without speaking. After a long silence, he whispered, "I've never cared about comparing myself to anyone, but that night, I felt small because of you." My tears came instantly. "I'm so sorry," I whispered. "You've never been anything but enough. I messed up." He turned to me, voice shaking. Then why did you make me the joke? Those words sliced deeper than anything he'd said before. I'd gotten so used to casual teasing that I forgot how deeply words could cut, especially when said by the person you love most. He reached for my hand eventually, his fingers trembling. I don't want to lose you, he said, but I can't live with that kind of disrespect again. I nodded through tears, and I meant it. I would never let carelessness cost me what mattered most. It took weeks to rebuild what I'd damaged. Hard conversations, honest ones, painful ones. Aiden later told me the part that hurt him most wasn't jealousy. It was humiliation. When people laugh at a joke your wife makes about another guy, he said, you can't unhear it. I told him I finally understood. And I do. Even now, months later, I still hear his voice whenever I'm tempted to make a joke at the wrong time. How do you know? Because I learned something I will never forget. Respect isn't proven through big gestures. It's shown in the words we choose, especially when other people are watching. One careless joke almost cost me my marriage. Now, when I look at Aiden, I don't try to be funny at his expense. I listen. I love. I choose my words carefully. Because I know how close I came to losing everything over a single sentence meant to make people laugh. And if this story hit you hard, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Your support helps bring more real stories to life.